Devereaux!
I'm Mr. Devereaux.
What's that humming mean?
Beethoven's Fifth.
I never said I was more than I am.
Welcome everyone to episode 50 of Kiss Meets the Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Eli Clausen. The celebration. We have finally reached 50. This is kind of a milestone for us. We would have been here a long time ago had we had not had to miss a few shows along the way, but hey, we're finally here. Again, as always, joined by Luke Neely, Branton Young. we got distracted by the celebration, so.
I always get drunk at parties.
Wait, where's the strippers at? We had that lined up for the show.
They're busy.
Crap. You've even got a pole behind you back there. There's a couple of them. So we should be joined by a special guest later on in the show. Waiting for him to contact us, but for now, we're just going to kind of roll with it. And because we didn't really have anything planned, because we thought we were going to have our guest right at the beginning of the show, so we'll just kind of roll along with things. So just a little bit of history. Yesterday, November 27th, was the day that they did the show in Detroit on the Revenge Tour, where they recorded audio and video for the Alive 3 album and the Kiss Confidential video, both of which, I've slobbered about many times on the show. The sound quality, everything about it, I love. So it was, crap, I didn't even think, what was it, 92, I believe, when they did that?
I think so.
So, what are we at? Jeez, 25 years now. Ugh. Crazy. Oh, man. Yeah, time could slow down any time, It's, it's getting ridiculous. Like, it didn't even feel like Thanksgiving last week, and now it doesn't even feel like it's almost Christmas time. Yeah. Especially this weird weather we're having here. It's like 60-something degrees. Almost December now. I'm not complaining, but I guess I am at the same time.
It's weird.
So, yeah, I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving, by the way. I know I got stuffed. What about you guys?
That is for sure.
I didn't make myself sick. In other words, I didn't go back in. But I did eat too much.
So you went against your vow to yourself at the end of last week's show. You said you weren't going to stuff yourself. And
yeah, well, see, the thing is with me, I can eat just a little bit more than I normally eat, and I'm already too full.
Yeah.
Because I'm not used to eating, I guess. At least, Kat says that I never eat. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I'll eat one plate, and it's like I can already tell, like, maybe I could have more, but I better not, because I hate that stuffed feeling. You feel. Ugh.
I always save room for dessert, so I had some peanut butter pie and I had some pumpkin pie. So.
Oh yeah.
That was the best part.
Oh yeah, peanut butter pie. We had that at our dinner on Thanksgiving, and then we had another one to go to on Sunday. Had pumpkin pie there, so was jonesing for it. But yeah, I just hate that feeling of being stuffed, especially when it's like Thanksgiving or around a bunch of people. It's like, oh god, no worse feeling. But if I'm at home or something, I'll do it. And I'm a slow eater too. Some people just scarf it down, and I'm still sitting there eating on it. I'm like, sorry, I don't swallow it and inhale it like you do.
Yeah.
For one, it'll probably get stuck in my throat if I do that. Turn into Snots the dog from Christmas Vacation under the table.
Yeah, I need to watch that this year.
Oh yeah, that's if there's one movie I watch every year, it's that one. Like, I make sure even like especially on Christmas Day. Has to be vacation.
Yes.
There needs to be a Kiss Christmas special.
Yeah.
We have plenty of Halloween related Kiss specials. There needs to be a Kissmas special. You know what I would like to see? I'd like to see Paul Stanley and the Soul Station do like a Christmas show.
Yeah.
On TV, singing Christmas songs and mix it in with the stuff that they normally do. That would be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But no, we get stuff like Bruno Mars on Fox doing Christmas songs and all these other, football games. You got these country singers in skinny jeans and stuff. That's what we get to settle with. Oh, God.
Yeah, that's, I guess it's probably never going to be any different because the few things that Kiss actually does, like when they did the Macy's Thanksgiving parade, I bet they'll never do that again because it was such a mess.
Yeah, that was so horrible. And that was like the first thing that popped in my head when I was watching that parade on Thanksgiving was because that same float, the one that they were supposed to be on with the Gibson guitar, that one went by again, and I just thought about that atrocity. Like, God, that was horrible.
Yeah.
I haven't even seen that since it happened. Like, I don't want to see it again.
Well, I was glad that Kiss was going to be on there, but I know that, and I think Paul Stanley, I think he said something about it on Twitter or whatever, how upset he was. You could tell. And of course, I guess anybody would have been.
Oh, yeah. If I remember right, the whole, because they were supposed to originally be on that Gibson float, but then, of course, they couldn't be because, they're not sponsored by Gibson, and so then they threw them on that float that just, looked like it was thrown together by a couple, metal trusses or whatever those things are. And, on top of that, they're lip syncing and, they're all wearing these, like, heavy, long trench coats and stuff as they're playing. It's just like, I don't know. Because, when you hear Kiss, you're expecting something bigger. I'm expecting, like, all these bombs and stuff going off, and, maybe they would at least play a couple songs in general, but my God. Yeah, I definitely have not. I've made it a point to not go on YouTube and look that up and try not to ever watch it.
Was it just Rock and Roll Night? Is that what they did? I don't remember.
See, I don't even remember. I want to say it was that or Shout It Out Loud or something like that.
When they were lip syncing it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Well, I don't think that'll be on Kissology, if that ever comes out. They're not probably never going to include that in anything.
Oh, God, I hope not.
Because the Olympics was supposed to be on Kissology 4.
See, our luck, that's the next release. It'll be like a Blu-ray special edition of just the Thanksgiving thing. And they'll have this big old documentary about it, and multi-camera view. You can watch each member like on that one DVD. That'd be our luck.
I would like, not necessarily the Thanksgiving parade, but I would like for them to do another DVD where you can watch each member.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was really a good idea. I wonder why they haven't done that more often.
True. I don't know if it's cost thing or what, but yeah, I think we talked last week. I'd love to see some more live DVDs or just another compilation period. So
Yeah.
But like I say, I mean, it sounds like we're not really going to hear much from Kiss at all for at least a year, so we might not get crap when it comes to Kiss. We're going to get the Gene Vault. We're going to get Paul doing his Soul Station shows with Eric, and who knows if Tommy's doing anything, and if any official Kiss videos, audio releases come out. I'd be shocked, to be honest, because it doesn't seem like they really do it until they're touring, even though they're not necessarily touring to promote that, but it's always kind of the double, intention why they're out touring. So, I don't know, it might be a pretty kissless year. Pretty quiet.
I was trying to think back when we were talking last week about it. when say like when pick any specific time, through the years, and I was trying to think, were they releasing a lot more stuff than they are now? Because now they're older and they don't need the money. Of course, they haven't for years, and their age and everything. They're not going to tour as much. They're not going to. So you think they would release more things to fill the gaps up when they're not touring?
Yeah, exactly. Or turn around and release something after the tour that commemorates that tour. The DVD, live album, whatever. That sort of thing. The cruise, all that.
Yeah.
But
I'm surprised they've never put out a DVD for any of the cruises.
right, I mean, are they just trying to keep it that exclusive to where you can only experience it if you're there, other than YouTube videos? But
Right.
that's still not the greatest quality and all that. But
That wouldn't surprise me, really.
I mean, that's just another one of those projects that seems like a given that they would have done or should have done by now.
Right.
Well, I think that the only way we're going to get that, and of course I could be wrong, I hope I'm wrong, is, if a fan puts it together and, well, like you said, it's a lot of it, that's on YouTube.
Yeah, that's probably the closest thing we would get now if somebody just throws together like a bootleg compilation of that stuff that's on YouTube, basically, and whether they edit a bunch of different ones together or just find the one that seems to be the best quality out of all of them.
I was thinking, on the first cruise, what costumes were they wearing at that time? Were they still in the Sonic Boom outfit or what?
I want to say they probably were.
I don't really remember. And then because I know they've done different things, but in my head I was trying to chronological of what they started out doing on the first cruise, and because we know they did Creatures recently, and then they did it again, sort of wearing the same costume. So
let's see, the first one would have been, 2010? So that would have been like right the year after Sonic Boom came out, so I'm assuming they probably were still doing this. I think they did pretty much do just a plain show, that first one, other than probably a few deep cuts in. Because, they did, the year that they played Alive, they wore those Alive costumes, and then they did the one year where they played in the suits, and Creatures, which basically I guess they kind of did that 2 years as far as costumes.
Well, they had the monster costumes on too. Probably, what was it, the second one or third one? I don't know.
Probably the third one for sure.
And then when we seen them at the Nutter Center, they were still doing the Freedom to Rock tour, and they were wearing the I don't know if it was the monster. I guess it was. And then right after that, they did the cruise with Creatures. So I don't know. They seemed to wear those costumes. I mean, there was a lot of variations of those costumes, especially jeans, I've noticed.
Because Tommy wasn't wearing the suit he wears now at that concert, was he?
No, he had on the. I want to say that they went back to Destroyer costumes, but I don't think that's right. I think they had monster costumes still.
Yeah, I think it was. 'Cause I don't know. It seemed like he had that one on at that show, but yeah, you're right. Because they didn't wear that till they cruise.
There for a while, I could follow. It's like, okay, well, in this period they wore this and this and this and this, and then they started going back and re-wearing, like replicas of the originals.
Yeah.
But now they've went back again to some of those. And so now I can't even really remember, what was, not that it's valid to anybody but a Kiss fan, but,
Yeah.
It's hard to keep track now because I seen a picture yesterday on Facebook probably, and they had on the Destroyer costumes, but it wasn't for Psycho Circus. It wasn't that tour. Did they wear them after that? I don't remember. Because, Ace was with them on Psycho Circus, but this was Tommy and Eric. Well, Peter was too, I think. So they must have worn them after that.
That is interesting.
Because I was thinking
on Alive 4, they had the Alive costumes again for Alive 4.
Right.
That is weird.
So I don't know what period they were wearing the Destroyer costumes with Tommy and Eric.
That might have been, was it? No, it wasn't. I was going to say Alive 35, but that was what you guys just said, Alive.
Because Eric had that vest for a while, and it had the cat from Rock and Roll Over on it.
Yeah, he's
Then
wearing
he had,
that
like,
on the monster cover.
His armbands had spider webs, which I don't know. That's sort of odd.
And then, I mean, really, Gene's monster is basically just sort of a variation of the Destroyer costume. I mean, it's pretty much the same armor. They just added those.
He had that shiny one for a little bit that was real chrome looking. I don't know if that was Monster or when that was.
I'll tell you what, though, like, the monster does look a lot better than, like, the Psycho Circus costume, because I went back and watched that Dodger Stadium thing that aired on Fox, and it had been so long since I'd seen that, and I looked at his costume for that, and just the way it looked, and it looked so bare compared to everything else that he wears now, and
Yeah.
I was just like, God, that looks awkward. And, you know, Ace, I never liked the way his makeup looked in that Psycho Circus period. It started looking weird for some reason. Like, something about his face itself, and then the way he was doing the makeup. And
Well, I noticed on that the pay-per-view, that last Kiss, he looked really thin, and then later he started gaining weight. Like right after that, for the Psycho Circus, he was quite a bit heavier compared.
Yeah.
well, that was after Psycho Circus.
Right. Well, yeah, I had him backwards.
And I was never a fan of that real shiny silver paint that he was using right around that time. That was part of it too. It kind of showed the, I don't know, I guess the skin imperfections or whatever, you know, you want to call it. It kind of brought them out too much.
So when they first started out, aside from the first album cover, a lot of those pictures you see, his makeup almost looks like it's silver, but it looks more of a grayish silver. It doesn't look that real shiny stuff until probably around Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over.
Yeah, because I think he kind of did it. He did it there and like around Dynasty, I believe, and then, well, actually Creatures too, because it was kind of shiny in those pictures. But I mean, it seemed like it was even more shiny, like during Psycho Circus. Like that's doable, like the Creatures and all that. I like that, but just something about the way he looked. And maybe it was because he lost that weight and his face looked too, you know, sunken in or something. I don't know. But on top of the shininess of the silver, I don't know.
Maybe he just needed to paint a tear on his makeup. Maybe that's all he needed.
And destroy his drum set.
Do we have any more comments on our Facebook or anything?
Oh, yeah. We did get another comment of a list. I almost forgot. I wanted to mention. Thanks for bringing it up.
Apparently, Gene wasn't being too politically correct. He got in full last one. At Fox.
Oh, yeah. I did see that he made another comment, something about women or something recently. I forget all the details now. I saw that pop up last week, and
I haven't heard anything else about that whole thing.
yeah, it was one of them things. Like, yeah, it happened. No one's really that surprised.
Well, that's the thing that surprises me is how they reacted to it. Because, I mean, I'm not saying that he should get away with anything just because he's Gene Simmons, you know. And I don't know if he thinks he can or not, you know. And I know he was probably brought up in a different time when, of course, politically correct wasn't a thing, you know. But he is aware of that. He's a smart man.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's sort of odd that he said anything or that they reacted the way they did. It's just an odd situation.
Yeah, sometimes I think he does kind of have that attitude that he can do what he wants and say what he wants, but it seems like more times than not, it's come back to bite him in the ass. So,
well, he's had to apologize a few different times over, you know, and he's even said that, you know, I see things, and then I don't think before I say them or whatever. So I mean, which we all do that.
Yeah, I mean, hell, the whole thing that with the marriage, that right there, just he proved to himself how big of a hypocrite he was about that, and he wasn't even invited to Paul's wedding back at the time because of how he felt about marriage and all that. And then it wasn't just a few years later that he gets married himself. So,
well, there for a long time, if you watch some of the earlier interviews, I don't know exactly what years they would have been, but he had, he'd already had kids with Shannon, but he didn't want to talk about it, and for a while, and I remember one interview that I don't remember what they asked him, and Paul had said something about, well, we're cool dads, aren't we? And he looked at him, and Gene sort of went along with it. He wasn't wanting to say anything, but Paul sort of, well, we're on camera now, so, he had to agree with him at least. So that was sort of fun. Yeah, I'd like to look that up, see what year that was from.
Right.
Probably 90s, I guess.
Yeah, and then when your own son calls you out on your crap, and that's pretty sad. And Jean pretty much had to marry Shannon, or she was going to be gone. I mean, she was fed up, and
yeah.
I'm looking at the thumbnail now on the YouTube of when she walked out on him when they were on that headline news that one time.
Yeah.
Because he was saying dumb stuff again.
Now, I watched that not too long ago, and then there's a follow-up video where they came back on there after they got married.
Yeah.
And sort of talked about that when she tried to walk out. There was nowhere for her to walk to because it was set, I guess. But
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell that that's what she wanted, and I think it finally got through to him, But I think that he pictured himself without her, and basically that he had to start over. Of course, he was still Gene Simmons, but I don't think he was comfortable where he was at, and that's, why would you want to start over? You didn't have to.
I mean, he always talked about he never really wanted kids either back in the days, and
right.
And then once it finally happened, it was just like a slap in the face, like, what an idiot you are. And it was kind of the same thing with marriage,
If you watch that one episode of Family Jewels where it goes to his dad's grave and they go to Israel and stuff, I think he was so convinced that his dad done him wrong, for no reason. I mean, Gene's the same. He was the same as his dad in a lot of ways from the stuff I, seen and heard. So he didn't want to become his dad.
Right.
I guess. So that's probably he was against everything.
My dad's dad left on their family too back. I never even knew my grandpa on that side. He was gone before I was born. But that's the thing. I mean, you got to rise above and not follow the same path that person followed, whether it's your parent or not. You just got to go down a different path and make it better. So,
well, he was convinced that his dad just up and left him when he was young, and I think if I remember right, his mom, it was a mutual thing, more or less. And she either told him to leave or, that was the best thing for both of them, whatever. But, through the years, he never knew that. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of it came out. And if it wasn't for Shannon, he wouldn't have resolved a lot of that stuff either.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, it's like, there's things with me that's like, I know it's like, oh, it's like my dad, but sometimes I wonder, is there parts of me or my personality that are like my grandpa? But I don't know. I never knew him. I've never heard many stories about him. I think I've only seen like one picture, and that's been years ago. So who knows? It was one of them things, he had left the family, so they never really cared to talk about him either, and that was that,
Maybe you should go to Israel and find out.
All right, so enough of the sappy crap. So yeah, we had another comment left. Actually, Infamous Gamer again. He left a comment last week as well. He shared with us his dream set list, so I'll run through this real quick. 100,000 Years, Parasite, Getaway, Do You Love Me, Mr. Speed, I Stole Your Love, All American Man, See You Tonight, Love in Chains, Speeding Back to My Baby, Magic Touch. Looks like he left out Peters on purpose. Magic Touch, What Makes the World Go Round, Down on Your Knees, Escape from the Island, Danger, Fits Like a Glove, I've Had Enough, Who Wants to Be Lonely, Thief in the Night, Prisoner of Love, Take It Off, Hate, Dreamin', Modern Day Delilah, and Freak. And then for the encore, he has God of Thunder, She, and War Machine.
Good stuff.
Another solid set.
Absolutely.
I've yet to listen to any of our set list yet, but I definitely plan on it.
Yeah.
And I will listen to his now too. So thanks again, Infamous Gamer, for sharing that.
Yeah, Thief in the Night's another one of my favorites off Crazy Nights for sure. That's another one that I almost picked.
I think, hell, didn't we damn near all pick Fits Like a Glove? I think.
I think I picked 1,000,000 to 1 on that, on Lick It Up.
I almost picked that one. I don't remember which one I picked now.
You both picked 1,000,000 to 1.
Did we?
So I think me and then the 2 or 3 guys that left comments, I think we all picked Fits Like a Glove, I believe.
Gotcha.
But I know there was a few that we all, did the same ones. Hooked on Rock and Roll. Weird enough that we all picked that one, but... Yeah, Luke, you had 100,000 Years.
I had a lot in common with Infamous Gamer there, because I had Speeding Back to My Baby and Love in Chains and Prisoner of Love.
I've Had Enough.
Yeah. Dreamin'.
Yeah. Very cool. See, for me, like, I could listen to 100 different variations of a set list. I don't care if the songs repeat or not. I'll listen to them all because I love to do that. It never gets old. To listen to them songs back to back.
Well, sometimes I'll do that with just the live tracks.
Yeah.
Because, if you have any of the live 35 ones, or I don't know what was the other ones that they did.
See, I did that the last time when we did the one set list thing, or it might have been best opening track something, but I did pretty much all live versions or what I listened to when I went through and did it. But this time I'll probably just do the album tracks, because especially with a lot of these songs, there's no live versions. So
how many tracks was on that You Wanted the Best that wasn't on the live 1 and 2? Is there 2 or 3, or was there more than that?
I think it was only like 3.
So I have that somewhere, but I don't.
Room Service, 2-timer, and New York Groove. But let me see here.
But those were done in the studio, right? Because people were saying that Paul's vocals were different.
I don't think it was necessarily the studio. They were done on the reunion tour, not back in '75 like they were trying to say.
Maybe that's what I heard then. I knew it was something because they were saying his vocals wasn't the same vocals he had in the '70s.
Yeah, because I think like on the album or the liner notes, they try to say that it's from '75 or something, and you can tell right away the vocals are the way he sounded on the reunion tour. The drums sound way too, clean and good, and slower, so you could tell it's a reunion tour. And,
Yeah.
Well, I could see them using an original track from the 70s, like from Dynasty or whatever, when they did New York Groove. Surely they have a different recording of that.
don't call me Shirley.
Was that even included as an original, or was it not an original either?
I don't think so. Oh, actually, I'm looking at it. Room Service 2-timer let me know that wasn't on either of them. Take Me, even though it was supposed to be on Alive 2. And then, I think that was it. Yeah. Because I think all the other versions are the ones right off the Alive and Alive 2, aren't they?
They're supposed to be. They just mixed them together to where they would all be like a continuous track, I think. Instead of the breaks in between them.
And then that wasted 17 minutes of an interview that they could have threw at least 3 more songs or so.
Right.
Yeah.
Jay Leno, of all things, too, listening to his voice. God.
Well, all the stuff they've put out since then, like stuff with the original guys, they could have just put out a compilation of some demos or something that, I mean, people would have rather had that, I think.
Or pull out some actual, like, live tracks from the old days that are, rare or whatever. Because at the time...
one of the shows that they've got plenty of probably complete shows they could do the audio with.
Yeah, because, I mean, at the time that came out, we didn't have the Acrobat and all that at the time. The box set didn't come until 2001. So we didn't have that, and, like, a lot of the official demo versions.
We didn't even have any of the Kissologies, right?
No.
They could have released an audio of the Cobo Hall concert from 75 or 76, whatever. I mean, they could have just done that, and, well, everybody, that would have sold a lot better, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
And they still could sell a lot of those if we've talked about that before, If they would just start chronological and release, okay, here's something from 73 or 74, a full concert, just the audio.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I could kind of put up with listening to the music on that compilation. I guess, especially if I just throw it on and don't think of what it is, like trying to sell me that it's from the 70s and it's not and all that crap. But I definitely don't listen to that interview anymore. I can't stand it. It's another thing I don't care to ever listen to again. Add that to the list with the parade.
If they were going to put an interview on there, why didn't they have an interview with the 4 original guys? Because they have stuff from that too. Like, you ever remember seeing the that Nightbird special where that woman interviewed them outside? They were at that table and they didn't have their makeup on and just showed them from the back.
Yeah, I have the audio of that.
Maybe not that one, but they could have got something like that and put it on there.
You mean like a more vintage interview with the original 4, not the newer stuff the way it was on there? Oh.
Yeah, leave Jay Leno out of it too.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I just wonder if the reason they did that, whose idea was. Well, you think that was Doc McGee's idea, or I mean, I know Paul and Gene always have a say so, but
I mean, even that, like, they should have threw something there to honor Eric Carr at least. There should have been like put one of his live drum solos on there or something, or even just an interview with him if they had to put an interview on there or something.
Well, I think a lot of the stuff. Like if Bill Aucoin had still been, their manager, nothing against Doc McGee because I think he's done a lot for Kiss.
Yeah.
But he's not Bill Aucoin, and he had a different mentality, I think, because he was complaining about the reunion tour, how certain things weren't right.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that. The stage they were trying to. No, it's just like the Love Gun stage. No, it wasn't even close to the Love Gun stage. The costumes, they were wrong too. And they looked kind of odd in the costumes. Again, Gene looked odd in that reunion costume just as much as he did the Psycho Circus one. So
yeah.
And then, when they did the Detroit Rock City movie and they were wearing, I guess, supposedly the actual original Love Gun costumes, they squeezed into those, and that looked awkward too.
Probably felt awkward.
I bet. Probably couldn't move around much. I wonder if they used extras for any of those scenes. I don't know why they would, but I wonder if they did. Maybe there was Evil Kiss version 2 that we didn't know about in that movie.
I think we were talking about, maybe it was last week, where you'd like to see a Kiss Meets a Phantom sequel or Detroit Rock City sequel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Phantom would ever happen, and I'm almost positive we won't see Detroit Rock City, because if they were going to do that, they probably would have done it like a couple years after the first one came out. And I don't know, I mean, I'd love to see another one, because that's like one of my favorite movies to watch.
Yeah, I agree. We probably missed the boat because, they hated it as soon as they saw it, so that was already out the door. But, like I say, I mean, maybe Kiss don't even have to be involved in it. Just have 4 guys dressed up playing Kiss, I mean, it's a movie, so...
Well, that documentary, is that going to be like a straightforward documentary, or is it going to be like I don't know if you've seen the Jimi Hendrix one or the Little Richard one, where they have a guy that's, playing Little Richard, and there's someone, they set up the story on some of those, that's not like a narration, but, they cut, I mean, is Paul and Gene going to sit down with these actors that's playing them and say, okay, this is this and that, or are they going to care that much, you think?
I think it's supposed to be a straightforward, if you've seen the Eagles documentary on Netflix, it's 3.5 hours long. From what I understood, it's supposed to be pretty much exactly like that, because it's done by the same guy that did the Eagles one. And that was great, because I mean, it had a lot of, I'm not a huge Eagles fan, but I could tell there was like, some rare footage and rare photos in there, and like they went pretty in depth with all the interviews, like, a bunch of people that were associated. So seeing it done like that, but on the Kiss level, yeah, that makes me super excited. That's why it's like, oh God, when are we going to see that? Are we going to see that? Or if they ever release, say, Kissology, would it end up just being included on Kissology or something instead of its own release? I mean, I don't know. I wish we had answers instead of all these stock answers just to shut us up. Oh, it's 80%. Every year it's 80%.
No, Paul said at the cruise, he said it's done, but like you said, I don't know if he really knew what they were asking.
Right, because didn't you say he said something about somebody to pick it up or something like that, or?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
because that's what I understood is the problem with the documentary, is they're trying to find someone to pick it up to release it. So I think he was mixing that up with Kissology, getting his.
Well, either one. I just wonder. I mean, nowadays, because, and I'm not saying they're classic rock. I mean, I guess they sort of are, but anything from the late '70s and '80s is pretty popular right now in that type of music.
Yeah.
So you think it would be very easy to get something, distributed and released. Because, I mean, they got Kiss Rocks Vegas in theaters, and they got that released on vinyl and everything else. So I don't know why it would be so hard for anything else, if it's Kiss related.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it seems like a given. Oh, it's a Kiss project. You seem like you would have 4 or 5 studios all bidding on who's going to get it.
Right.
I don't know how that works exactly, but yeah, you think it would.
I mean, I'm sure that the Scooby-Doo thing, I'm sure that sold well. And I'm sure Vegas sold pretty well. I mean, it's going to sell, obviously.
Okay, so it was a Live 35, the picture.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I didn't even realize that's what they were wearing.
Wow.
See, that's totally backwards to what they should have been wearing. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because they
yeah,
weren't in the Destroyer costumes on the Alive tour. Yeah, that's kind
Yes.
of weird.
What are they doing there? That's I don't.
yeah.
That's
That
crazy.
that was a little weird that they did that. Because
I think a lot of it does come down to money, though. You know, as sad as it is to say that, just based on the comments Gene has made about them not doing another album because he doesn't feel incentivized to do it, which, I mean, I have to say I agree with, you know, his logic there, that if they're not going to make any money on it, they don't want to spend a bunch of time and effort working on it. But at the same time, you know, it makes you wonder if that comes into play when they make any sort of decision on anything they could potentially sell. Is, are we going to sell enough to, you know, whatever it's going to cost us to have people do this?
I mean, yeah, I get it too, but it's like he says all that, but yet he's got no problem putting out this big vault box set with 10 CDs.
Yeah.
And what makes him think that that's not gonna? It's gonna leak. I don't care how
Well,
foolproof
and
and
that monster book, they knew they wasn't going to make any money on that when they put it out. But why in the world would they even do that?
right.
You know,
I mean,
and like when we were at the Kiss Expo and Doc McGee was there with Tommy that year, I guess that was a couple years ago. He was saying, this is before Kiss Rocks Vegas came out. He said, yeah, it's going to be on CD, it's going to be Blu-ray, it's going to be vinyl, it's going to be in the theaters. You know, we're going to sell it to you as many times as you'll buy it. You know, so why can't they just do that with everything? Because
Right.
sort of what seems like Kiss would do, you know,
right.
to recoup whatever it is that they, you know, they were convinced that they could make money on Vegas doing that.
You know, and I don't care how foolproof they think they are, and if they did have people fill out, you know, disclosures, it's going to leak. Somebody's going to risk it, whether they sign that or not, to put it out there.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna. So I don't. You know. So it's kind of the same thing. Like he doesn't want to do a new Kiss album, but yet he's putting out that, which is essentially the same thing.
And you know, you can go to. I don't know if it would everything be on YouTube. I know a lot of the stuff is, but you know, there's stuff that probably is on YouTube that Kiss doesn't own and Kiss doesn't have. And, you know, we've seen Kissology, and some of the copies of some of the shows on there aren't even the full show, and it isn't even the best quality show. There's some of them's better on YouTube.
Exactly. 100%.
You know, like the Dynasty one that you know, that's the one I had. Like mine had quite a few more generations on that VHS tape I had back in whatever year, but it's basically the same one because it has those lines rolling through it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you know there's a better copy out there because I've heard people say there is.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Do you suppose Paul and Gene ever get on YouTube and they're like, oh, man, I forgot about that?
I
Yeah.
would wonder about that.
That's a good question. I mean, it's hard telling what they view or know about, you know?
Yeah.
Well, you know, when Prince was alive, he had people working for him that kept everything off of there.
Yeah.
Which is completely to the extreme, and I don't think that's necessary, especially nowadays, because it's basically commercials for what your product is.
Yeah.
You know, there's been numerous times where I've found something on YouTube, whether I knew about it or not, and then went out and bought the album.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good list of successful musicians out there, whether they're, you know, commercial gimmicks or not, that have gotten that way because of YouTube. That's where they got discovered, you know.
Right.
That bitch boy Bieber, he got discovered on YouTube, so that's what started him.
Well, and you know, the thing is, how many people, I don't know, might have discovered, you know, some bands from the 70s or 80s strictly by YouTube that they wouldn't have, you know, they see the footage instead of just hearing the music, because, you know, we know as well, being a Kiss fan, you know, a lot of people won't give Kiss a chance. Then you go see them live, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
like
I
that
know.
one guy was telling me about.
I know I've discovered older bands, like I'll look up, you know, psych rock or 70s hard, and I'll run across bands that I've never heard of, and I'm like, oh my god, that is awesome. Now I want the record. And you know, even with Kiss stuff, like finding out about cover songs that people did that I didn't know, or songs that Kiss did that were covers that I never knew until recent years. And, you know, even some of that rare footage that gets put out there, it's like, where the hell's that coming from? And,
Yeah.
you know, there's a lot of, like, one of the ones I like the most are those 8mm footage that people upload. Like, those are really cool because it just has that look of almost like being there, like what it really looked like to be there, just the way
like like you videotaped it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like another one just popped up the other day on one of the channels I'm sub to, and I think it was it was the Dynasty tour, and you know, it just another random show that popped up, and they had some audio synced with it, and it looked really cool. It was like a different look to the Dynasty tour than what I'm used to seeing, because I'm used to seeing that quality of that bootleg and the Largo and yeah, that kind of stuff. So I like that almost more than any of the other rare footage that gets put out, you know. But
you know, I've noticed that too. It's funny because if you see something that you haven't seen for years and years and years, even if it's from the same tour of a show or something you might have seen, it's almost like it's from a different time period when it isn't.
Yeah.
Because of the quality or the cameras they used or where it was filmed or the audio or whatever it is.
It's like there was one from the Love Gun tour I watched too that same day, and I don't know, it's like you watch that and then it's like I stopped and think, I was like, God, that really does look old, you know, as old as it is. But when you just listen to the music and look at pictures, it doesn't feel like it's that old, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
then but the way that particular footage looked, you know, shot at the show, it just had that old age look to the film, and I was just like, oh my God, like, wow, that does make it look old.
That channel on YouTube, I don't know if it's the one that has the Casablanca book or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
One of those channels where they release, and I've said this before, where they release a little bit of footage, but if they get a certain amount of, I don't know if it's pledges or really how it works, they'll release more. It's like, okay, well, so that means they have like a big pile of footage that they're just waiting. Okay, here's a little bit, and it's like, I don't understand how that happens, and where's that coming from, like you said.
Exactly. And matter of fact, you know, like, I think it's Kurt Gooch and them guys that are doing the Kiss Alive Forever. I think it's at the Atlanta Expo. They're supposed to be showing some more unearthed footage, like there's footage of, you know, Ace falling on the stage and on the Alive tour, that kind of stuff. And, you know, I've never seen that before, so
No.
it's like hard telling what else they might have. But it's like, that's cool, but how about all of us people that are, you know, helping you make the book, you know, that pledge thing? Hey, put that footage right on there for the people that's buying it, you know.
Yeah.
'Cause a lot of those pages will do that, like, oh, here's an exclusive video, you know, just for the pledgers, and, you know, why not do it for that stuff? But I don't know.
Well, we was talking once before about music videos. You know, not only did we see the Eye video not too long ago, but there might be some other videos for all we know. But even if there isn't, like the deleted scenes with Phantom, where's the deleted scenes with the music videos? You never see that stuff with any band. I haven't seen it with any band, really.
I think the other probably holy grail music video is, what is it, Thrills in the Night, that other version?
Yeah.
That's probably the one that would be like the next holy grail.
And there's pictures. I've seen numerous pictures from that video, but the video.
Yeah, that would probably be the next one that, if it surfaced or something, or even just a clip of it, would be huge.
But I mean, if you think about, say, Who Wants to Be Lonely video, for example, you know they filmed different angles, and they filmed it probably more than once, them lip syncing the song, and you know, whatever scenarios that they had. You know, where's the other footage that didn't make it into the video?
Yeah, like, you know,
there's a censored version of that video, and there's an uncensored version. So I have seen those two, but where's the rest that they didn't use?
like, you used to see all those, like, making of the music video stuff,
Right. Yeah.
MTV, or sometimes on a DVD that a band would release, that kind of thing.
Well, the I Love It Loud video, Paul said he had to roll over and do that guitar solos numerous times till he actually pulled a muscle or hurt himself.
Yeah.
So where's all that footage? They had to be filming it because he was doing it numerous times. It's like, why can't we see that? Where is it?
Exactly. 100%. And, what if there's stuff that we don't even know? Like, what if all four of them each did their own music video for something off of their solo albums back in '78? Who knows? Like, that would be... my head would explode if something like that ever came out. Because we don't know of anything like that. But who knows? In the vaults or something, they could have footage sitting there of...
Well, it's possible because, there was rumors that... you've heard both stories. The Kiss thing, how they pretend one thing, but this is the real reason, and it's like with the solo albums, was to keep the band together.
Yeah.
But then, yes, in the contract, there was already a clause for solo albums way before they ever had to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Or for the reason that they said they had to use it. So if they knew that far ahead they were going to make solo albums, they might have even knew when they were going to do it and what they were going to do. So, it's entirely possible they could have made videos for that.
Yeah, that's just one of them things. Like, I don't know, you get crazy thoughts every now and then of like, what if they did do something like this, and nobody knows.
Well, it's funny because when I think about stuff with Kiss, I get excited of what could be that we don't know about potentially. But a lot of other bands, I'm not saying there isn't any other bands, but Kiss is one of the few bands, if not maybe the only one to a certain extent, that I would want to see things like that. Other bands, like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, because we all think we know and do a lot of research. Like, oh, well, there's all these music videos, and then there's this one that's unreleased. We think that's it. And all the stuff.
For years, I didn't know about that video. I knew about the one that we seen, which is just clips from '73 to '79, I think, or '76.
And then when they played on whatchamacallit,
I didn't even know there was another one.
Yeah, and when they played on, what was it, Fridays or whatever, that version, that was the iMusic video to me all those years. And but that's what I'm saying. Like, we think we know all that they're possibly. Oh, it's just these music videos, and then this one unreleased, and all these live shows that are out there. But there's probably crap they got that we don't even know about.
When I first heard about the video, I'm thinking, well, I've already seen that. I used to have that on a compilation. It was on that Kiss Evolution.
I know. I kind of felt the same way at first. Like, big whoop.
Yeah, it's like, why? What's the big deal? But then when I seen it, it's like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just like that stuff. There's probably stuff sitting in the vaults right now, or it really kills me to even say, like, stuff that may have even been destroyed back, when they were doing all that.
Right.
We don't even know about.
Well, I wonder what Paul and Gene think about the video being released, because they know that.
Right. And maybe that has something to do with why they played it this year.
Well, see, that's what I was wondering, because they did it as the encore.
Mm-hmm.
With, like, when they do Rock and Roll Night, he breaks the guitar and all the stuff. During it's like, am I living in an alternate reality? I never thought I would see that.
Yeah.
So there might be something to that, because Kiss knows, they really know what's going on, regardless if they're going to tell us or not.
Yeah, that was a huge moment when, at first when just pictures of it came out. And everybody was freaking out then. And then when we actually got, a little clip and then finally the whole thing, the reaction was just huge. And I'm sure it's got tons of views and everything else. And, yeah, they probably know that. And, well, I'm sure word got to them, maybe even through Eric about it too, and they probably really opened up Paul and Gene's eyes to that as well.
The thing is, I think that they should have been aware of stuff like that anyway, because wasn't the Kissologies, especially Volume 1, but I think all of them, didn't they go like quadruple platinum or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
So they know that people want that footage, you know, that whatever it is. Because
See,
I think 2 and 3 sold just as good.
but see, that's the thing. They didn't even own that. That original pneumatic tape that they all got a hold of. I don't recall or if we ever found out exactly where it originated from.
Talking about I.
Yeah, but it sure wasn't from Kiss's vaults. They didn't buy it from there. So apparently Kiss didn't even have that in their possession, or maybe they did. Maybe they have a copy. I don't know.
Well,
But
if they didn't, you know, I've heard that they did, and I've heard that they didn't. But if they didn't, you know, does that make them think, wow, we really should spend a little bit of extra money and officially get a hold of this stuff and release it or whatever?
yeah, because
I
that
don't know if they even care.
like hell, even if it was Kissology 2 would have probably been the time frame for that. That one, you could have put a sticker on there or announced that one music video was going to be on, and that would have sold so many copies just because of that.
Absolutely.
Let alone everything, screw Attack of the Phantoms, take that off.
Well, you know, they could still do that. It's like I said the other day, they could release, like, say, Kissology 4 or whatever they want to call it, every one of their music videos, that whether they've been released or not, in chronological order. Just release that on a DVD. Well, I'd buy it. I don't care what's on it. I'll buy it.
Yeah, because they've done like very small versions of that. Like those one, what are they called, Gold or whatever, where it's just like a little collection of certain music videos. But yeah, I mean, other than bootlegs, we don't have an official collection of everything.
Of the videos that's on Exposed isn't on the Kissologies.
Right.
And some that's on Kissology isn't on anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have that Crazy Nights one that's just those videos. So everything's just like all split up.
Right.
They need to take everything and put it on one, and put Thrills in the Night video on there, and put I, and both versions of I, and whatever it is that we've seen and haven't seen. I used to have a video compilation that someone had put together, and the very first video I had on there was the Midnight Special where they're doing Deuce.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what that was from at the time, so I just thought, hey, they did a music video for Deuce. I didn't know that. And to me, I still consider that a music video. It's really not, but
right. It's pretty much the closest thing to it,
Yeah.
And it's just even the live Shout It Out Loud that they did for the reunion tour, that video, that could be included. I like that version in that video.
Yeah, and you got Heller Hallelujah, Modern Day Delilah. I mean, those aren't really on anything.
Yeah, because Heller Hallelujah is just a lyric video, right? But I mean, still.
Then Right Here, Right Now.
Yeah. True. And then that Samurai Son, that could be on there.
I don't think Psycho Circus is on anything either, is it?
I don't think it is, other than
Kissologies, is it?
No, I don't think they put it on there. No. So I think really the only way to get it was what, the actual Psycho Circus video, or
And Every Time I Look at You, I don't think that's on there either, is it?
No.
No.
So there's all kinds of videos. There's more than I originally thought. And then, of course, you got Sure Know Something and I Was Made for Loving You. They're not on Kissology.
See, like, even speaking of the Revenge, the Forever video, and especially the God Gave Rock and Roll to You video, I'd love to see behind the scenes of that, how Eric was, and, how he was handling all that with the way he felt, and, powering his way through it to be able to, finish it.
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to see footage of that, just the making of, and, I'm sure he was still, being Eric, probably goofy and joking and all that kind of stuff, even though he was feeling bad. But
well, Kiss fans, not to be morbid, but they like the behind-the-scenes footage, like that, I don't know what version it was, I guess, where Tommy had filmed a lot of stuff before and during the Last Kiss pay-per-view thing, and all that didn't show up on the actual, when it was broadcast.
Mhm.
You know, Peter's yelling and screaming under the stage, and
Oh yeah.
death, and you know, a lot of that stuff wasn't on. I mean, I have it somewhere with all that on there, but I mean, that was when I was watching that. It's like, you know, you see Paul and Gene after, you know, and Peter's putting his boots on to go out to do Beth, and it's like you would have never seen that stuff if it hadn't been for Tommy Thayer,
Exactly.
you know, or whoever would have filmed it. You know, it was him, but
I've only ever seen that on YouTube. You know, that's the first time I saw that footage. And
where they're at the very beginning, they're before they go on.
yeah, they're in the dressing room, just kind
And
of
he's drying his fingernails with a hairdryer and all
yeah.
that.
They're all just sort of, you know, keeping their distance, keeping to themselves. They, you know, they were just done at that point. And,
And that kind of stuff is what we want to see.
well, is that the same video that was the last time they all walked to the stage? Is that the same where they were backstage first and then walking to the stage?
I don't know if
last
that was
time.
the last time or not.
Because I know that video, you know, it's the last time the original four all walked to the stage together, and that video was done by Michael Brandvold. I remember that.
Yeah, that one was.
So
Yeah,
I couldn't remember if that was the same.
I don't think it's the same one, but
Okay.
same tour, I guess.
Yeah.
I imagine there was. They were probably thinking every show was the last time. Because I seen him in Columbus, and that was the last time. Because right after that, Peter had left the group or whatever. So I have the audio of that whole show that I taped myself,
Oh wow.
and it's on a cassette. Yeah, I'll let you have it if you let you borrow it if you can convert it.
Yeah, I mean, see that's probably not out there anywhere.
Probably not.
I don't see that many Ohio recordings show up of video or audio.
It's not the greatest because I had it down my pants.
So
So the
you're-
sound comes and goes.
hear a lot of farts and stuff in between songs.
No, you didn't hear any of that. I had it around the front, not the back.
Oh well, okay, different kind of fart.
But I had to keep checking it to make sure the tape wouldn't end, so I could flip it over to keep, you know, so I could get all of it. So I think the only thing I didn't get was the guitar solo and the drum solo. I intentionally left those out so I could get the rest of it. But it turned out fairly decent considering it was down my pants.
Spots where the bombs go off, it's a fart instead, right at that moment.
But I never, you know, I didn't know at the time how bad that they were getting along.
Yeah.
And I obviously didn't know that was going to be the last show with Peter. Or the last, well, what was it? With the last show of the farewell tour? Or was that the last? I don't remember exactly.
No, that was the last bit of the American run, and then they were getting ready to go over to, you know, Japan and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And then Peter came back after that. And yeah, I was the same way at that time because, hey, when the reunion happened, the magic's back and this and that. So I was still under that impression that everything's great, the magic's back, they're all just getting along and they're happy to be doing it. And
Wrong.
yeah, come to find out years
Oh,
later.
I think they were, though, in the beginning. You could tell that.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I think the majority of the reunion tour, I mean, I know that if you watch the Second Coming DVD,
Yeah.
you can tell that they're adding a lot of shows, and it's hard on Peter. You can tell it's about to kill him.
Yeah, they did that Lost Cities extra
Yeah.
leg at the end. Yeah, I mean,
No, they probably didn't originally sign up for that, but they've worked with Paul and Gene before, so they sort of maybe expected it if it was successful.
hell, they did that tour for what, a year and a half, almost 2 years for that whole tour. I mean, so but by the time that tour ended, that it was already falling apart, and then Psycho Circus, let alone the recording of the album, that didn't help matters. So
Well, I watched Kids Are People Too, where they introduced Eric Carr
mhm.
back in 1980, and any of the interviews you watch with Eric Carr, whether he's with Kiss or by himself, he's always he doesn't get into a lot of personal stuff, and I think that was probably an agreement back then.
Yeah, true. Because they wanted they wanted everybody to think that he was just some unknown guy off the streets, basically, and like he had never played in a band before or anything like that. But now we know he was in a handful of bands before Kiss, and fairly successful. I mean, he made a few records with a lot of the bands and stuff, and
Well, if you're into music at all, you've obviously had to play somewhere with some band before you get your break, if you ever have a break. I mean,
yeah, for the most part.
like garage bands, at least.
I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head that just walked right into the band it was their first band and was successful right away. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head, but
Well, what's that line in that Peter Criss song, "Hooked on Rock and Roll"?
yeah.
Something with it. What do he say with a needle?
Vaccinated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Vaccinated.
I don't know why the hell I know that, but
Because you love that album.
I know.
favorite.
He sits around listening to it and playing along, and then he acts like he don't like it.
That's what it is. That's actually the only Kiss album I've ever really listened to. Not even really that big a Kiss fan, to be honest. It's just
Yeah. I know I'm losing my my passion as we go.
yeah. Kind of thinking about starting a Peter Criss podcast, a Peter Criss / Iced Earth podcast.
Iced Peter. I'm still waiting for the day that I meet someone that says that their introduction to Kiss was Peter Criss's solo album. I would shake that person's hand, say, "Bless you for sticking through it."
Yes.
Because you discovered the much better stuff. There was a post, it was either from today or yesterday, that did pop up on the Kiss website that someone sent them a picture. I guess there was a restaurant in Canton, Ohio, and they have a picture displayed in a frame, and it's black and white. It's a picture of Gene from the Destroyer tour when they played in Richfield back then. And somebody took a picture of that, sent it in, and they posted it on the front page of the Kiss site. It's like, had never seen that picture before. Just hanging in some random restaurant in Canton. Well, alright, I think we're going to wrap this thing up then. We'll get in touch with our supposed guest. Maybe he can make it next week. Definitely have some other stuff in the works. As far as some guests, just got to get some things lined up. So, alright, until next week then, we will see y'all later.